The fork froze halfway to my mouth when she said it. Crystal clinked. Someone coughed. The room folded inward like a held breath. My promotion dinner had been my idea. Neutral territory. Linen tablecloths. Low light. I wanted one night where the past didn't get a vote. Then my mother leaned back, smiled the way she does when she's sharpening something, and asked if my title was Charity. Not to me, to the table. I didn't argue. I didn't explain. I paid my half of the bill, stood up, and left my chair warm. I didn't speak to her after that. Not a text, not a call. Silence became my language. Now she tells the family I'm too sensitive, that I embarrassed her by walking out, that she was just joking. I let her talk. That was the first move. When I met my mother for the first time, I was 6. That's how it feels anyway. Like I didn't know her before that moment when I learned love could come with conditions. She taught me early how to earn approval, how to stack achievements like armor, how praise was rationed and humiliation was free. There were good days, there always are. She'd clap at school plays, she'd frame certificates, she'd tell people I was going places, but never say where. Hope lived in those gaps. I filled them with effort. By the time I climbed into corporate glass and steel, I thought I'd outgrown her voice. I was wrong. It just learned new ways to travel. The signs were subtle before they were loud. A joke here, a correction there. She'd ask my salary in front of relatives. She'd question my hours like a prosecutor. She'd say, "I just worry," while cutting the legs out from under me. I told myself it was concern. That's what betrayal wears when it wants access. The dinner was the proof, the moment she chose witnesses. I watched faces around the table flicker, shock, pity, calculation. I felt the old heat rise and then flatten. Control slid in, clean, cold. I didn't cry in the car. I didn't scream. I archived the moment. After that, I stopped reacting. I started recording. Dates, words, who was present, what was said. I listened when relatives repeated her version of events. I thanked them for their honesty. I corrected nothing. I focused on work. Promotions don't happen by accident. They're audited. I gathered letters, metrics, commendations. I built a dossier, not to prove myself, but to remove doubt from the room when it mattered. I also tightened my circle. Invitations became deliberate. Information became need to know. I learned how power moves when it isn't announced. She kept poking. She sent messages dripping with innocence. I didn't mean it like that. You're always so intense. I saved them. Every apology that wasn't one. Every rewrite of history. The hunger wasn't for revenge. It was for balance. The execution was quiet. No fireworks, just placement. I hosted another dinner months later. Different restaurant, smaller table, family only. I didn't tell her why. She assumed forgiveness had arrived early. Halfway through the meal, I stood and thanked everyone for coming. I spoke calmly. I said I wanted to clear something up because stories had been circulating. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't accuse. I presented. I read her words back to her. Dates attached. Context intact. I explained the promotion process in clean lines. External reviews. Board approval. I named the colleagues who had been at the first dinner and how the room had gone silent. I described how walking away had been the only dignified option. Then I stopped. I let the silence do the work she'd taught me. She tried to laugh. It cracked. She said she was joking. I asked who had laughed. She said I was sensitive. I asked why sensitivity only mattered when it wasn't hers. She looked around for allies and found mirrors. That was the confrontation. Not shouting, not tears. Recognition. After, I set boundaries like contracts. Written, clear, consequences stated. I told her how we would interact going forward, or not at all. I didn't ask for understanding. I informed her of terms. She called it cruel. I called it precise. Now, when she tells people I embarrassed her, I don't correct them. The truth has momentum. It doesn't need my push. Invitations stopped arriving for her. People ask me how work is going with a respect that doesn't flinch. I sleep better. That's the payoff. I didn't destroy her. I removed her leverage. I learned that walking away isn't weakness when it's timed, that silence can be surgical, that revenge doesn't have to look like anger to be complete. I rose. She finally had to look up.